So welcome to step 2. In this step, this is where things get really exciting. This is where we're going to show you how you can make a lot of money from just getting one customer. In fact, in this step, I'm going to show you an example, and this is one example of many, where one of our clients who completed this 21-step training program that you're going through right now, they were actually able to make $49,850 in commissions from one customer. Okay, literally from one customer. Now, that's probably something that you don't hear about every day. Typically, in internet marketing, people are getting excited to make a few $100s on a sale. But imagine if you could make over $40,000 from one customer. I'm going to show you how that's possible in this step. Now, also, less than 79% of people ever get this far in this program. So, in other words, if we had 5 people, 1 already would have dropped out by now. So the fact that you're here, congratulations, keep on going, keep up the momentum. So here's what we're going to talk about in this step. We're going to look at what is the tactical triangle and how does it hold the keys to how much money you make in your business. What the 99% miss when climbing the ladder of success in this industry, and how it can be the difference between making millions of dollars and bankruptcy. How is it possible to get paid up to $49,850 from one sale? I'm actually going to share that with you, and also how you can be in a position to do it. And the importance of having both a high converting front-end funnel and also a solid back-end sales process. I'm going to share all of that with you in this step. So first, a few definitions. What's a sales funnel? Well, we already touched on this, but just as a reminder, a sales funnel is just a fancy word for a customer acquisition process, which is one of the very most important parts of your business, having a customer acquisition process in place that makes the sales for you and which operates independently of you, the business owner. In other words, so you don't have to be there face-to-face on the telephone doing one-on-one sales. There's no leverage in that, so that's why you need a sales funnel. So it's really just a series of steps that a business has in place to convert leads, prospects, into paying clients. Now, what's a front end? Okay, so a front end is the product or the products that you sell primarily to get yourself or your business a customer. Not to make big profits, not to make a lot of money, but more so just to pay for your advertising cost or to help pay for your advertising, and also just to get the customer in the first place. Because what you're going to realize in this business, the asset is the customer. Okay, if you can get a customer, if you can sell a front-end product to a customer, give them a wonderful experience, and then follow up on the back end, that's where you can make a lot of money. Okay, so the customers are actually the assets. They're very valuable assets to have in this business, and not a lot of people really understand that. So a back end, this is where the big money is made. After you have a front-end customer, they brought your product, which you offer on the front end, then you can follow up, and that's where you're able to have back-end programs, and that's where you'll make the vast majority of all your money. So here's an example. Let's say that I said to you, you've got a high converting funnel that you can use, right? And let's say that you go and spend $100 driving traffic using the methods that we will teach you later on in this program to that high converting funnel. So you spend $200. You generate 100 leads, just an email address. And our marketing system follows up and you're able to make 3 sales. Okay, at 40, let's say it's at about $49 each. So in total revenue from those 3 customers, you've just made $147. Now you spent $200. You made $147 back. Are you happy? Okay, are you happy? Can you answer that question? Because most people, they would look at that and they would think, well, I've just lost $53. So no, I'm not happy. I take a very different stance though, because I know if I can get 3 customers like this for $200, I'm going to be extremely happy. I know that those customers, when I follow up and I offer my back-end training programs, we're going to be able to make a lot of money. And so is the person who leverages our MOB marketing system and refers those clients. So before I tell you how we're going to follow up and make the profits on the back end, let me teach you a few fundamentals. So maybe you've seen this formula before. I certainly didn't come up with it. It's been around for a while, but it explains how you make money online in the normal sense. Traffic plus conversions equals sales, or traffic plus conversions equals cash. Now traffic, we already defined that. Traffic is just people in front of a website. Conversions is really the website's ability or its effectiveness at getting people to pull out a credit card and buy. So if you have a 1% conversion rate, that means that 100 people come to your website and one of them, 1%, takes out their credit card and actually buys. So as long as we have people coming to the website and a good, decent conversion rate, then we're able to make money. So this is what people are typically told is all you need to know to go and make money online. But there's actually something else that comes into it. Do you know what the missing ingredient is? There's actually a fourth really, really important part. And people ignore it to their own detriment, and often they lose a lot of money because of it. Okay, and that is economics. So let me explain what economics means. E is for economics. So economics means that you might be making sales, but for you to get traffic to your website, whatever time or money you're spending to get the traffic to the website, you have to be profitable. Okay, so just because you're making a few $100s in sales a day, that doesn't mean you're profitable. You could be spending a lot more than that. So economics is really important. You've got to have good economics in your business model. In other words, you've got to be able to have high ticket programs on the back end that allow you to be profitable for the cost that you're incurring to acquire those initial clients in the first place. Here's the deal. I discovered this myself. I really learned this lesson in 2011. So let me tell you a quick story. I got started in late 2008. I had no clue what I was doing. I really didn't. And all I knew was I wanted to make a lot of money online. So I spent my first 2 years having very mixed results. Some days I would make good money, other days I wouldn't. But 2011, that was the year that everything changed. And what happened was I started to learn about the importance of having the right business model and also having high ticket back-end offers that I could offer to the customers that I was getting. Because you see, up until that point, even though I was making money, sometimes I would spend more than I was making back. So I was making sales, but I still wasn't really profitable. Well, towards the end of 2011, I started making really good money. And when I say good money, I mean I had months where I was making over $10,000 and above. I'll show you the actual numbers in just a moment. But here's what happened. Back then, I would sell a $97 product. Once I got that $97 product sale, I would then follow up. I didn't have the kind of marketing system that you now have available to you in this program. So I had to do the follow-up myself back in those days. But I would follow up and I would convert some of those $97 buyers into $1,997 buyers. So about $2,000. Not all of them, but some of them. And then behind that, I offered another program which was $4,997 to the $1,997 buyers. Okay, and what happened was when I started adding in these back-end training programs, the economics of my business completely transformed. Here's what it looked like. October 2011, I did somewhere around $7,000 in revenue. Now back then, that was a lot of money for me. That was still a pretty good month. The very next month in November 2011, it was closer to something like $15,000. And I remember very clearly December of that year, I went back to my parents' farm for Christmas. And I remember being there at the end of that month and actually having a month where we did over $45,000 in revenue. And I remember also thinking it couldn't possibly get better than this. I thought, wow, if I'm able to do this again, I'll be very glad. Okay, I'll be very happy. Well, in January of the next year, 2012, I actually did just shy of $81,000 in revenue. Now, I didn't get to keep all that. I was probably spending about, by that point, maybe I spent somewhere around $10,000 that month on advertising. Now, you might think that's a lot of money, but if someone offered to pay you $81,000, would you spend $10,000 to get it? Of course you would. Okay, so yes, I was spending more money on advertising, but because of that, I was making a lot more money and most of that money was coming from the back end. Okay. And then things got really crazy. In March of 2012, I actually did over $120,000 in revenue. In 2012, I'll tell you the numbers in just a moment, but it went on to be one of my biggest years back then, at least. Okay, for me, in a very short amount of time, I went from making not much at all to making more money than I knew what to do with it. So the reason why I tell you that story, it's not to brag or to boast or anything like that. It's to tell you that wherever you are right now, even if you haven't yet been able to make money online, or you've got the odd sale here and there, but you haven't been able to experience consistent success yet, I was in the same boat, and within about an 18-month period, I turned it around completely and went from making less than a few $1,000s a month to making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in revenue. Okay, so it's possible to do this in a very short amount of time, but you've got to have the right business model. Okay, it's very important. So we talked before about having a tiered product mix. Well, when we talk about having additional back-end programs, that's what we mean. We have a tiered product mix. We have different price points that we can offer in the funnel. So 2012, by the end of that year, December 2012, I actually did over $400,000 in revenue that month. So that entire year was well over $1 million in revenue. Again, not all profit, but I got to keep some of that, and that was my first really big year online. And then from there, 2013, 14, 15, 16, and so on, it's just got bigger and bigger every single year. And if I had to credit any of that to one or two things, I would say paid traffic, but also the right business model. Having high ticket products that I could offer that made my return on investment in my paid traffic much better than any competitor could even get close to getting. So that's why the high ticket affiliate marketing business model, or the top tier business model, is so important. It's going to give you just a massive advantage over anyone else who's trying to make money online. So just to recap, what changed was I introduced different back-end programs that I could offer my front-end customers. For those first 2 years, I wasn't marketing, effectively at least, my own high-ticket back-end offers. So as soon as I started doing that well, the numbers just completely changed. And the economics of my business completely changed as well. I went from being able to only spend maybe $100 to get a customer to now being able to spend many hundreds of dollars to get a customer because they were worth potentially thousands of dollars to me. So the economics were completely transformed when I added in the additional back-end offers. Again, you don't need to go and do this yourself. You have a system that you're going to learn throughout these steps which will actually do it all for you. And all you need to do is put leads into the system. That's really all it is. And last of all, the lifetime value of each customer in my business back then had gone up dramatically. In the first 2 years, they might have been worth only $100. After 2011, they were worth now thousands and thousands of dollars. Again, the economics had changed. Now, the other thing that I started doing during those months where I went from $7,000 to over $100,000 in less than really 6 months, what I was doing is I was reinvesting the profits back into the business. So when I had that $7,000 a month, I might have invested, say, $1,000 or $1,500 in traffic. When I had the $100,000 plus month, I might have invested somewhere over $10,000 back in the traffic. So what I did is, as each month made me more and more revenue, I would take a fairly substantial percentage of my profits and I would reinvest it back into the business. And like a lot of internet marketers who suddenly experience, for the first time in their life, a lot of money coming in, I was tempted to go and spend the money on other things like holidays and fast cars, but I resisted that urge and I reinvested the money back into the business, into spending more money on advertising each month, and that's how I was able to scale so quickly and have my first $1 million year in 2012. Here's what most internet marketers do. Most internet marketers are essentially just flushing cash down a toilet. That's how I look at it. What they want to do is they want to go and find the hot niche, the hot product, the one that they think is going to sell really well. They become an affiliate for it. They go and spend a whole bunch of money and time driving traffic to that offer to sell that hot product, and they try and make money that way. And that's not the way to make money in this industry. The way that you make money is, rather than focusing on going wide and getting lots and lots of customers, you focus on getting fewer customers but better customers and going deep. In other words, selling more product, more programs to those existing customers, providing them more value. Now each customer is worth a lot more to your business. You can afford to pay more to acquire those customers, and your competition, they can't keep up because they don't have a back end. They don't have high ticket products on the back end like you do. They don't have the right economics. So we come back to these essential elements, and I want to give credit where credit is due. This was actually crafted by Perry Marshall and Jack Bourne. It's called the Tactical Triangle. So they say that as long as you have traffic, you have the right conversions, and you have the right economics, then you can make a lot of money online. And in the middle, you can see they have 80-20. That comes from the 80-20 principle. In other words, if you're always looking for the 20% of inputs that cause the 80% of results or the output, and you continually reinvest more into that 20%, that's how you're going to scale really fast. So in other words, when you start advertising, once you complete these steps and we show you how to go and start advertising, you're going to find that maybe 20% of your ads make you 80% of all your money. So what you want to be doing from 1 month to the next is eliminating the bad ads and putting more of your time or money into the 20% of the ads that are making the most amount of money. And that's how you're going to be able to scale up really fast like I did. This often is a little bit hard for people to get their head around, especially if they're brand new to the business. But everyone, when they start in this industry in internet marketing, they think that making a lot of money is all about getting more traffic or getting cheaper traffic, or what they really all want is the free traffic. They think that if they can just discover some secret traffic source or some secret software that's going to get them a lot of traffic, they'll be able to make a lot of money. You don't want to start with traffic. Don't start with traffic. Traffic comes last. That's exactly why in these 21 steps, we're not going to focus on traffic. Traffic will actually come after the 21 steps. That's when we'll teach you how to get traffic. What you want to start with instead is economics. Having the right business model in place first. If you have the wrong business model, if you don't have a good back-end process in place, then it doesn't matter how much traffic you get, you're not going to be profitable. So you start with the business model first. That's why we're going to focus on getting you the right business model in these 21 steps first. Once you have the right business model, then whatever traffic you get, you're able to monetize it really, really well, better than any of your competitors, and you're able to make a lot of money with it. So again, we start with the business model and we'll deal with traffic last. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now, you're about to watch a very short video. This is a snippet from the very first time that I was ever invited on stage at an internet marketing seminar, and this was way back in 2011. And I'll be honest with you, I was terrified beyond my mind. I was speaking in front of about 200 people in this video, so my delivery is not exactly polished. I was very nervous. Look past that and listen to the training, because I make a really good point about having the right business model. So go ahead, watch this little video snippet first, and then I'll be right back.
The first speaker that you're going to be hearing from today is a new good friend of mine named Matt Lloyd. Now, Matt has been one of our top affiliates. Put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Mr. Matt Lloyd. Do your thing, my friend. You are absolutely awesome, and
okay.
See you guys in 90 minutes. Whoa.
So, hi everyone. As Jonathan said, my name is Matt Lloyd, and I do have a confession. I've actually never done one of these before, so for the past 3 weeks I've been putting in a lot of effort into this, because what I want to talk about, it's possibly more important to your future online than anything else. And these are things that have taken me maybe 3 years to fully understand. So if you're just getting started, what I'm going to share with you today, you really want to pay attention to it. It's really important. So here's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be sharing with you the real truth about traffic. Okay, and why you're not getting as much as you'd possibly like, and what to do about it. Okay, I'm going to approach traffic from an entirely different angle than you've ever heard before. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to tell you a story first. As you can see, this is a guy called Samuel Langley. Okay, and if we go back to the year 1903, Samuel Langley, he wanted to be the first guy to ever fly. Okay, so he wanted to be the first guy to ever fly an aircraft manned by him and be able to land it. And around this time period, there was sort of a race on to be the first person to do that. And US Congress, they actually backed Samuel Langley, and they gave him $50,000. In today's terms, that's over $1 million. So it was a lot of money back then. Okay, and Samuel Langley, he invested most of that money. He hired his own team of around 50 people. He invested a lot of that money into developing an engine for this aircraft. October 7th, 1903, they were ready to launch this plane. Okay, so they'd put a lot of work into planning it, building it. They were ready to do it. They launched it off the side of a boat, and this is basically what happened. You can see a photo there. Bottom right side, it crashed. Okay, Langley decided to try again. So December the 8th, they poured even more money into it. They redid this plane, and again, this time it crashed again. Now this pretty much ended Langley's whole pursuit of being the first person to fly. They had invested a lot of money into it. US Congress at the time decided, we don't want to invest any more into this because this just is not going to happen. Now, 9 days after Langley's big crash, after he gave up, a sturdy, well-designed aircraft, only costing about $1,000 US, struggled into air in Kitty Hawk. Most of you will know the story. And that actually became the first aircraft to ever fly. People behind that were the Wright brothers. So I'm sure you've all heard of the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, these were guys who had wanted to fly ever since they were about 9 years old. Okay, so it had always been a big dream of theirs. The Wright brothers, 9 days after, they succeeded. Now, what you've got to realize is that they created a lot of aircraft, like something like 47. Most of them crashed. Okay, but finally they succeeded. Now, their approach was a little bit different to Langley. Once and only once, they had built that aircraft that could actually glide, okay, so they could virtually launch it off the top of a hill and it would glide down to the ground. Once, and only once they'd done that, then they thought about the power. Okay, and it only flew for about 12 seconds, so it wasn't exactly a long time, but they were the first guys to ever do it. And so what happened? Everyone's heard of the Wright brothers. Most of you would have heard of the Wright brothers. No one's heard of Langley. Okay, Langley, he actually died a very bitter and disappointed man because, they'd invested a lot of money behind him and he hadn't succeeded. So the question is, why did the Wright brothers succeed and Langley not? Okay, one historian put it like this. I want you to pay attention to this. Langley had spent most of 4 years building an extraordinary engine to lift their heavy flying machine. The Wrights had spent most of 4 years building a flying machine so artfully designed that it could be propelled into the air by a fairly ordinary internal combustion engine. So the Wright brothers, their approach was to make this aircraft that could actually fly before they even thought about adding power. Now you might be wondering, why am I telling you this? Why am I giving you a history lesson? What's it got to do with my business? And the answer is, this has everything to do with your business. Everything. Facebook pay-per-click, which I'm going to touch on today, it's virtually like the engine, okay, that you would put on an aircraft. And it can send you a lot of traffic. So if you wanted to, if you were prepared to pay for it, you could get 10,000 clicks or 10,000 people in front of your website by next week, if you wanted to. if you were willing to pay for those clicks, you could get that amount of traffic. You could possibly get a lot more. Okay, now your website, on the other hand, that's like the aircraft structure. Depending on how well you design that, it's either going to fly, maybe half fly, or just crash and burn. And when I say will it fly, what I'm talking about is will it convert visitors into customers? Okay, that's the question. Now, if you have a website and it can't fly or it can't convert visitors into sales, it doesn't matter how much power you add to it. It doesn't matter if you get 10,000 clicks, it's still going to crash. And yet that's what most people do. They have a substandard website, they go chasing traffic as if that's the answer, when that traffic has no chance of converting. Okay, that's what, when I say most people, I'm talking about literally 98% of people in our industry. The biggest mistake that people make when coming into this industry, and if you're brand new, pay extra attention to this, the biggest mistake is thinking about traffic like an opportunity seeker. Most people think like that. They go and design a blog, and it's a substandard blog when it comes to converting visitors into sales, and then they think the answer to making money online is to go and get more traffic. Because they've been taught that more traffic equals more money. It's one of the most damaging beliefs in this industry. And although it's somewhat true, it's only true if your sales and marketing process can convert that traffic into sales. So if you've been getting, let's say you've only been getting 15 unique visitors to your website for the past day, and you've been doing that for the past 10 weeks, if you haven't got sales yet, the problem is not a lack of traffic. The problem is your aircraft. It's your website. It can't convert visitors into sales. When it comes to making money online, this is the equation. It's traffic plus conversions equals sales. All right, traffic plus conversions equals sales. And most people completely forget about the conversion part. Okay, or they think it's not really that important. And when you make that mistake, when you think it's all about the engine of the aircraft that's going to make it fly, or you think it's all about traffic, this is what happens. All right? Your website is going to crash and burn, just like Langley's did. So if you've been doing this for years and you haven't yet got results, I'll bet that this is the main reason. Okay, you're trying to send traffic to a substandard website that just cannot convert traffic or unique visitors into sales at an adequate rate. Okay? What most people fail to realize is that even if you have this website, even if you were to get 1,000 or 10,000 clicks by tomorrow, it wouldn't really matter because you can't convert that traffic into sales. And you might get the odd sale, but you've got to remember that all traffic has a cost. All traffic has a cost. And I want to end a myth that a lot of people perpetuate in this industry right now. There is no such thing as free traffic. So when you hear gurus telling you about how you can get free traffic, it's complete rubbish. Okay, there's no such thing. All traffic has a cost. Even SEO or article marketing, they have a cost. Okay, and the cost might not necessarily be money, it's time. So if you want to do something like article spinning, you might think, well, that's free. I create an article, I put it into an article spinner, I get 10,000 unique articles by tomorrow. What you've got to realize is that most of those articles are crap. You can't even read them. Okay, and why would you want to have that associated with your brand? Okay, that's actually going to do damage to your brand. People read that and they see that you're behind it and it doesn't look good. So all traffic has a cost. It's either time or money behind it. There's no such thing as free traffic. So if you're going to go out there and, seek traffic and spend money on traffic, which you always do in the form of time or money, doesn't it make sense for you to think like the Wright brothers and design this aircraft first before you even think about adding power to it? Doesn't it make sense to build a website that at least has a chance of converting visitors into sales before you go and add traffic? I want to give you an example. You've all heard of the .com bust, right? Back in the early 2000s, there was a company called Pets.com. And it wasn't around for very long. Now, Pets.com, they thought like most people in this industry do, that traffic equals sales. So they went and spent a fortune on advertising. For example, at the Super Bowl, they got ads for the Super Bowl, spent millions of dollars for a 30-second ad slot. And what happened? They were spending $270 to get a customer, right? And they could only monetize customers for about $75. So you can see that if you pay $270 to get a customer, and they're only worth $70 to you, you're going to go broke pretty quickly. Something like $300 million was invested into that company, and all of it was lost, okay, because they were thinking the wrong way. So the question, I want you to remember this and perhaps write this down. The question is not, how do I get more traffic? The question you should be asking is, how do I make more profitable sales? All right? It's not about getting more traffic. It's about making more profitable sales. So you start off, like I said, building that structure that can actually fly, like the Wright brothers did. Once you get it so it can actually glide, then you go and add the power. Then you go and add traffic. Now, I'm talking a lot about, you get it to it can fly, and you might be wondering, well, what exactly does that mean? Right? And I'm talking about how well it converts. And there is one number in your business that is more important than any other number. Okay, it's way more important. And that number will tell you how well your website can actually fly. And I'll guarantee you that 97% of people in our industry, probably more, have no clue what that number is. Okay, and that number is your average visitor value. It's more important than anything else. It's more important than unique visitors. It's more important than average time on site, average page views. All of these numbers pale in comparison next to average visitor value. Now, if you've never heard of average visitor value, here's what it is. Average visitor value tells you how much a click is worth to your business. It's the maximum you can afford to pay to get someone in front of your website before you start, to break even, before you start losing money. Okay, and unless you know these values, or this number, you cannot make informed traffic buying decisions. Okay, so any traffic that you go and buy, even the so-called free strategies, which aren't really free, any traffic that you go and buy will be based on hope. Okay, you'll be spending time or money getting traffic, and you will be hoping that it makes you money, and you cannot build a business based on hope. Okay, it doesn't work like that. So average visitor value, if you want to write this down, this is how it works. Take your gross sales. Okay, so let's say we sell 10 units in a day, and let's say that each sale we make is worth $100. So our gross sales for the day is $1,000. Divide that by the unique visitors to your website. Let's say in that day we had 1,000 people in front of our website. That's going to give you your average visitor value. $1,000 divided by 1,000 unique visitors gives you $1 per visitor. On average, that is what a visitor is worth to your business. And that means that you can afford up to $1 to get someone in front of your website before you start losing money. And yet, like I said, most people in our industry, they have no idea what it means. It tells you how well your aircraft can fly. That's what it tells you before you go and add power. And I want to prove it to you. I want everyone in this room to be completely honest with me. If you can tell me what your average visitor value is, right down to the nearest cent, okay, an accurate number, if you can tell me what it is right now, please put up your hand. All right, Leo. So there's about 150 people in this room, and we had one person put up their hand. Okay, so literally in this room, 99% of people don't know what it is. Now, this room is not exactly representative of the entire internet marketing community. You guys are going to be much better than the average person because the fact that you're here, you're willing to invest your money and time to get here, means that this sample is, it's a much better sample than your average internet marketer. So what that tells us is that maybe if you go to the general internet marketing community, something like over 99% of people have no idea what this number is, the most important number in your business. You're asking me, is break even okay? Yeah, break even is good. Anytime you break even, so if you have to spend $1 to get someone in front of your website and you only monetize that visitor by $1, you celebrate, because even though you'd made no profit at that point in time, you've got a customer. You've just brought yourself a customer, and that's what this business is really about, buying customers. Because you've got to look at the lifetime value of a customer. So if you've just spent $1, got someone in front of your website, they buy a product, you made $1 back, all right? Well, sure, you haven't made any profit right then in that point in time, but over the next maybe 3 years, you can sell them lots of additional products. So if you have to spend $1 to get someone in front of your website, you know, that's perfectly fine. I want to further drive this point home, okay? I want you to imagine a scenario, right? Let's pretend that I finish my presentation and, you know, you're really thirsty and you feel like a Coke. Right, so you go out and you look for a vending machine to buy a can of Coke for $2. You find a vending machine and you put in $2. Instead of hearing the Coke, you hear change. Okay, all right, you think, all right, what's going on here? You put in your hand and you bring out $1.80 in coins. So you're a little bit annoyed. The machine has just ate 20 cents of your money. But you find a cheaper drink and you put in your $1.80 again. Except this time, again, you get change. And this time it gives you back $1.60. So now you're getting a little bit more annoyed. You find another drink for $1.60. You put in that change. This time it gives you back $1.55. This vending machine is eating 10% of the money you put in. So for every dollar you put in, it gives you 90 cents back. Okay, my question to you is, how long could you stand in front of that vending machine putting money into it before you went broke? Okay, and the answer is not very long. Actually, the mathematical answer is you could stand there for infinity, because the amounts would get smaller and smaller, but practically you'd be out of money pretty quickly. You'd be down to like 10 or 5 cents. So you couldn't stand there for that long. Imagine another scenario. Let's say you didn't go to that vending machine. You went to one upstairs. And this one was also $2 per can of Coke. So you put in $2. You put in $2, except this time it gives you back $2.20. So you think, all right, well, maybe someone left 20 cents there, but I'm happy. You put in $2.20, you order a more expensive drink, except this time it gives you back $2.40. Now you're getting pretty excited, all right? So you do it again. And this time it gives you back $2.60. Now you're thinking, or $2.65, now you're thinking, all right, this is good. This vending machine is giving you 10% more back than what you put in. Now my question to you is, how long could you stand in front of this vending machine putting money into it? Yeah, forever, and you'd be crazy not to stand there and keep on putting money into it. Yeah, let's put honesty aside, and you could stand there forever, and you would get very, very rich doing that, because once compound interest kicked in, you'd start basically printing money. Your website is either one of these two vending machines right now. The money you are putting into that vending machine is like the money you are spending on traffic. And as I said, all traffic has a cost. So even if you think you're doing free traffic strategies like SEO, and you think it's free, it's not. There's a cost, okay, because your time has value. So right now you are putting money into that vending machine, and you're getting money back. The money you get out of that vending machine is like your average visitor value. And what you guys have just told me is that most of you don't know what you're getting in return. So the situation is you're putting money into a vending machine and you don't really know how much change it's giving you. Now if I put you in front of a faulty vending machine and I said, hey, keep putting money into this, but I'm not going to tell you how much it's going to give you back in return, how long would you do that for? Right? You wouldn't do it for that long, because you'd be crazy. You'd want to know what you're getting back in return. And as you just saw, most people in this industry don't even know what they're getting in return. So most people, in effect, they're standing in front of a vending machine, putting money into it and hoping they make a profit. This is what you're aiming for. This is what I call the holy grail. So everything you do in your day-to-day operations is to get to this point. It's to get to the point where your average visitor value is greater than your average cost per click. What that means is you found a vending machine where when you put in money, you get more back in return. And once you get to this level, then you can scale up. So every millionaire in our industry, this is where they're at. They spend money on traffic, they spend 90 cents on a click, and their average visitor value is $1. They make a profit, they can afford to reinvest that. Whereas most people are making a lot less than what they're putting in. That's why they can't grow. Okay? Now you might be wondering, well, what if I'm brand new and I don't yet have my own marketing funnel? And the truth is, if you knew, at some point, you do want to create your own product. It's not really an option, it's a must. So at some point, you do have to craft your own marketing funnel. And in the beginning, you're actually in a race against time. You see, when most of us get started, we only have, usually a pretty small budget we can put into advertising. You're in a race to fine-tune your aircraft, to fine-tune your website, to the point where your average visitor value exceeds your average cost per click before you run out of money. And I know what that's like. 2009, when I was still pretty new, I was advertising on Google AdWords before it completely kicked us off. And I remember racking up a bill of about $1,500, and I couldn't afford to pay it because my average visitor value wasn't that high, so I wasn't getting any money in return. And I can remember, Google virtually coming after me, sending me legal letters and for like 3 months saying, you better pay up. Okay, so I know what that's like. And if you're just getting started, that's the situation you're in. You've got to fine-tune your website to the point where average visitor value equals or is greater than average cost per click. Okay? When you start out, expect to put more money into that vending machine than you get back. That's perfectly normal because you're still figuring out what works. But as long as you're measuring, then you can at least have a chance of improving it. Okay? Okay, so I've told you how important this is, and now you might be wondering, okay, well that's great, how do I improve it? The first step, okay, the most important step is to start measuring. The mere act of measuring something every single day will allow you to improve because, as they say, what gets measured gets managed. Now, as we saw, most people aren't measuring this, but if you start measuring this every single day from this point on, I guarantee you that over time it will improve. Because as I said, this is the most important number in your business. If you're measuring it every day, consistently working on improving it, that's how you're going to grow your business. So the first thing I want you to do, it's a little bit hard for you guys to see this. Let me just read this out. On the left, you have the dates. So every single day we record this. This is, you can either do this in Excel or Google Docs. Okay, I prefer Google Docs because then I can share it with a virtual assistant and they can put the numbers in. I don't have to worry about it. But you can see in the left column we've got new customers since yesterday. It's the number of customers you're getting every day. Then we've got total customers. We've got new leads since yesterday, so daily leads, total number of leads, total sales generated, today's sales, so that's your gross sales you made in the last 24 hours, and today's clicks. Because you're measuring, now you're going to know how many clicks you're getting to your website. You take those sales for today, divide them by today's clicks, that's going to give you your average visitor value. Now, as you can see, for this particular website, it's ranging from about $1.20 to about $4.22. Now, what's going to happen is, if we keep on doing this for a month, we're going to start to notice there's an average here. Now, you can see here, it's something like $2.94. That's telling us every visitor we get in front of our website is worth about $2.29 to our business. But if you're not measuring, you have no idea what this number is. And then this is really important. Once you get your average visitor value every single day, because now you're measuring, plot it in a graph. This is one of the most exciting developments in the history of humankind, the ability to display data over a period of time, the visual representation of data. It really is, because then you can see the trends. Now this is only over, say, 10 days, so you can't really see much of a trend here, but if we extended this for about 30 days, you would start to notice that the average visitor value, which is on the y-axis, the part sticking up, you can see it's fluctuating around anywhere from $2 to or $3 to $4. Now, over 30 days, we would be able to see a more consistent pattern. And this is really important because over time, you're going to notice whether you're trending up or you're trending down. That means visitors are becoming more and more valuable to your website over time or less. And let me tell you something, your business, it's either growing or it's declining. It never stays in the same place. Because even if you're not making any changes, the market around you is changing. Okay, there's new people coming into this industry, new products, so it's always changing. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And unless you're measuring this, you have no idea. Okay? So now I want to show you how you can increase your average visitor value by 60% just by improving 5 leverage points in your business. This is basically the formula to you making money online. It's leads times conversion rate. So if you get 100 leads in a day and you have a conversion rate of 3%, that means that 3 of those 100 leads buy. That's going to equal your customers. Okay? Frequency of transactions, how often they buy from you in the next year, times your average transaction sale. Let's say you're selling a $97 product and you have a few upsells in there. On average, a customer is worth $250 to your business. Okay, that's going to be your average transaction value. That's going to give you total revenue. Multiply that by your margins. Now, most of us in the information marketing business, our margins are 100%. We create a product and we get to keep all of it. Okay? So it doesn't really apply. But if you're promoting an affiliate offer, well then, sure, you might, let's say you're promoting Jonathan's products, you get paid a 50% margin. You refer a sale to him and he pays you 50%. Now, this is what you can do. If you take those 5 leverage points and you increase them by just 10%, which isn't a big amount, say you're getting 100 leads, you increase that to 110. Say you get a conversion rate of 3%, that means 3 in 100 leads buy. You increase that by 3.3, just 10%. Frequency of transactions, average transaction size, so on, these 5 points, if you increase each by only 10%, you actually increase your profit by 60%. If you go through and you do the math, it sort of compounds on itself. So small incremental changes can virtually almost double your business. Okay, so you only have to increase each by 10%. It's not a huge amount. Now, you might be saying, I know there's always people who just say things like, well, I'm not good with numbers. I don't really know how to do that stuff. I'm just not good with that. The truth is, if you are going to market online and get traffic, even if you're using the so-called free strategies, which aren't free because they take up your time, you need to get comfortable around these numbers. You need to be able to measure them. Because if you put it this way, if you know how to track your numbers, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get rich in this business. It doesn't give you an advantage. But if you don't know how to do it, that puts you at a big disadvantage because you are competing against people like me, Jonathan, Mike Dillard, whatever, all of those sort of guys. They all know their numbers, and you're competing against those people. So what you've got to realize is that, personally, I'm going to be constantly fine-tuning my aircraft, making it more and more aerodynamic so it can fly better. So when I add power to it, it flies even better. I'm going to keep on doing that. And if you're not doing that, well then, that's going to be a little bit tough. Okay, it's going to be a little bit tough for you to grow a business. So you have to be doing this. And like I say here, anyone who's ever made over $1 million in this business, I guarantee you, they're watching their numbers closely.
So I hope you enjoyed that and I hope you got the point. You want to be like the Wright brothers and have the right aircraft, the right business model, rather than like Langley and think that it's all about more power or getting more traffic, okay? So again, the big mistake that so many people make in this industry is they think it's all about getting more traffic. In fact, if you go and ask any online business owner, what do they need to make more sales, they're going to tell you, well, I need more traffic. So the next time that someone asks you this question, and it might even be a coach, when they ask you, what do you need to make more money in this business, here are the correct answers. You want to sell more to your existing customers, so that's one focus, and you want to get them to buy from you on a much more frequent basis. Rather than focusing on going and getting a lot more customers, which is very expensive, focus on selling more, higher priced products, and selling more frequently to your existing customers. Again, have the right business model and the right economics in place. So when it comes to economics, there's really two important factors that you want to pay attention to. So the first is, how much are you willing to pay to acquire a customer? If I ask you that question right now, once you get through these 21 steps and you start leveraging our business model and start promoting so you can earn these big commissions, how much are you willing to pay to get a customer? Your answer is going to be really important, and I don't expect you to have the answer just yet. You will once you get to the end of the 21 steps. But whichever business in any niche can afford to pay the most to get a customer, they will always win. They will always win, they will always dominate, they will always go on to become the big giant in that industry and beat out all the other smaller competitors. So how much can you afford to pay to get a customer? The other thing you want to focus on is make every transaction with your customers as valuable as possible. So sell more, in other words, have high ticket products so that you're getting more money per sale than your competitors. So here's an example of what that might look like. Let's say you go and spend $1,000 and you get 20 customers. And let's say that from those 20 customers, if we take $1,000, we divide it by 20 customers, we've now got what we call your customer acquisition cost. Let's say in this case it's $50. You paid $50 to get a customer. Well, if you have a good back-end sales process in place where you're able to take those $50 customers and turn them into $200 customers on average, or $500 customers on average, well, you can make all your money back and also much bigger profits. So you've got to start to think of yourself as being in the business of buying customers, buying customers for a rate that is much lower than what your business is able to monetize them at. In other words, what your business model is able to sell to them on average. That's how I like to think of growing my business. If I know that every customer is worth, say, $2,000 to me, I will gladly pay $100 or even $200 to go and get a customer. That's how I'm able to make profits. So think of yourself as being in the business of buying customers at a profitable rate. And the other really important concept I want you to get is, even though you might think that there's not many customers out there who would be willing to pay thousands of dollars, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for products, that's actually not the case. There are plenty of people out there who will pay premium prices to get premium value. So whatever your thoughts are on buying high ticket, put that aside for a second and realize you're not selling to yourself, you're selling to other people. And yes, other people out there in the marketplace, they are willing to pay these kind of prices if the value is there. So today's lesson is really simple. Start with the economics, the business model first. Traffic, that will come much later on. Focus on that last. And all of this brings me to the story of Dale Bundy. Dale Bundy is 78 years young. He's one of our success stories. We have many success stories just like him, but he went through this same training program that you're going through right now. He went through all 21 steps, and he actually did what a lot of people don't do. He took action. He decided that he was going to treat this business seriously. He took action, and he started doing what we advised him to do. He started implementing the training. Because Dale took action from one single referral, one single customer that he got, that he didn't have to do really any selling to, our marketing system, our business model did all the selling on Dale's behalf, but he referred just one customer through sending an email. And that customer brought, and over time, over about 6 months, they went on to buy quite a few different programs from us, and Dale was earning commissions, high ticket commissions on every single transaction. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play a short little recording. I actually called Dale on Skype. He had just gotten a sale and I wanted to congratulate him personally. Sometimes I still like to do this. I like to reach out to our success stories, our clients, and just congratulate them on making a big commission. So have a listen to this, and then I'll come right back.
Hey guys, Matt Lloyd here. So I'm about to call one of our Diamond affiliates, Dale Bundy, and this one's a special case. I wanted to actually capture this on recording. Dale is 78 years young. He got involved in MOB not that long ago. I'll ask him on this call. I'm about to call him on Skype, but I believe it was in the last 6 months, something like that. He's made $24,000 in MOB so far, and he actually just made an enormous commission that he doesn't know about. Now, he thinks that I'm going to call him to congratulate him on getting the MOB Motors car. As you can see, I just added him here on Skype. I asked him, how are things going? He said he just picked up a Hyundai Sonata Limited. So he thinks I'm calling to congratulate him on that, but I'm actually about to tell him about his commission. So here's Dale on Facebook. Hi, Dale.
Hi there, Matt. Something happens on my desktop. It doesn't seem to work. Checking calls just on my laptop.
Okay, that's all right. I can hear you loud and clear now.
Good.
So Dale, how are things going in MOB so far? Pretty good, right?
Oh, I would say so. After 6 months is going quite well, Matt. Thank you, and I do appreciate everything that you are doing to improve and add to the products and whatnot. That's great.
You're welcome. Hey Dale, do you have a light you can turn on? I can see you, but I can't see your face very well.
I'm in the process of rearranging, moved into a spare bedroom and trying to get it all set up better. So, is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. So, Dale, I'm calling you. I just wanted to congratulate you first of all on getting your MOB Motors car. That's awesome.
Thank you.
But I'm also calling you because I wanted to let you know about a commission you just made. I just got back from the Titanium Mastermind in Pattaya in Thailand, and one of your clients there decided to go ahead and get one of our other programs. You actually just made $12,500.
12,000?
Yes.
What the heck did you do?
You actually got a mentorship sale, a big one. So you actually get a $12,500 commission.
Oh, you know, that person is the same one that jumped from nothing to diamond in New York.
Same one.
Merritt.
That's right.
I got another David Selka on my hands. Or, I'm sorry, Darren Selka. That's fantastic. I hadn't even seen that one yet, Matt. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that one just came in today. You should see that appear in your back office in a couple of days. But yeah, I just wanted to personally reach out and tell you about it. $12,500 in a day. That's a really good day, and it's just testament to the fact that, I mean, you promoted the New York Home Business Summit. I believe that's where this client came from. But I don't know what you spent on that event. What did you spend to promote that Home Business Summit those couple of months ago?
She was on my list, and I sent out an email to my list about the upcoming event, and she was the only one that went, and she went all the way. So it was on my list. It was one of my, probably on my retail clicks solo ads that I picked her up in, and it was also on the millionaire interview with you and I that I use exclusively for my funnels right now. So yep, she came into my list, and she responded to one of my emails, and there she went.
Excellent. How big's your list right now?
About 4,200.
Okay, so about 4,200, and you said you built that primarily with WeSellClicks.com, and have you also been doing your own advertising?
Yes, and I also had some lists from some of my previous failed attempts into internet marketing that I still retain the list on those. So I picked up about maybe 3,000 since most, roughly.
That's
and
really good.
We sell clicks and we sell good traffic.
That's really good. Well, with this one, so $12,500. What's your total earnings so far then? You're up to like 24,000 now, right?
Yeah, about 36, 37. I'm getting closer to the cruise in December then.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so about $37,000. All right, well that's really good. That's really good. And most of that, Dale, most of that's come from you got one really great client who just went all the way. They went to diamond. So you made on the diamond sale from the titanium, platinum, and so on. What did you make on that? That would have been about 18,500.
About 20.
About
Because she wasn't
20.
anything. Yeah, she went MLR. I'm sure. She went from nothing to all the way up to diamond. One world scoop.
All right, well that's great. So from one client, then you've made now with this one, you've now made close to $32,000 just from getting one client
Yes.
who was on your email list.
Yes.
All
I
right.
got a daring snowkit working.
Yep. All right. Well, that's excellent, Dale. So just keep it up. What advice do you have to anyone who's thinking about getting involved in the MOB affiliate program, becoming a MOB consultant so they can promote our programs? What advice do you have for them?
I would say that a person that wanted to really be involved in a business-related program with all kinds of benefits and training and mentorship and coaching definitely should get into MOB and to keep themselves positioned and take care of, go to the events, the masterminds, all the events, the masterminds, the supercharge, and all those. It's well worth it.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and you could also see the look on his face. He was pretty happy to get that news. Now, what happened after that is, though, that customer actually brought even more programs, and the total commissions to Dale from all of their purchases so far has been $49,850. So the reason why I share this with you is Dale got all of that from one customer. Most people out there who are trying to make money online, their approach to making this kind of money is to go and find 1,000 customers and sell them a $10 or a $20 ebook or something like that. Not Dale's approach. Dale decided that he would get the right business model, which had a really good back-end sales process in place where the selling was done for him, and all he had to do was generate leads. That's the power, that's the potential of having a good high-ticket back-end offer in place and also having the right economics in your business model. Now, here's another interesting statistic. So people like Dale who've been able to make money with this system, they make the vast majority of all of their money, not from front-end products, but from the back end. So when we're selling back-end training programs and different products to clients that they refer, they're able to earn high-ticket commissions. Out of the $67 million that we paid out at the time of filming this video, I would say that probably over 80% of it, maybe even as high as 85% of it, has come from selling high-ticket programs. Now, I define high-ticket as anything that's over about $2,000. So most of the money being made comes from the back end. And that's how it is in all good businesses, by the way. Okay, all good businesses, they make somewhere over 70, 80% of all their money on the back end. You've got to have a good back end in your business. Let me tell you about a few other success stories, and then I'm going to put a lot more in the text below because there's just way too many to mention. We had another client of ours who went through these steps. Her name was Adeline Sugianto. She's based in Sydney, Australia. Adeline so far has made close to $500,000 all up. She'd never done online marketing before she got involved in this business and went through these steps. She's had amazing results. Full disclaimer, her results are not typical. I'm sure you already know that. She puts in above average efforts, but she's done extremely well. And from one customer, she actually made over $42,000. We had another guy called John Chow. John has made millions of dollars so far in commissions. He's one of our top earners. You're going to meet some of our other top earners later on. Now, John also made over $45,000 from one single customer, and he's done those kind of numbers many, many times before. In fact, this is quite interesting. These are the statistics, and I want to share this with you just so you can see how well this has worked. So far, people who've been through these 21 steps and have taken action, listened to their coach and actually done the training that we give them, so far we've had one person make over $10 million. Actually today it's over 11 million. We've had 6 people make over 1 million. 37 people have made over 100,000. 345 people have made over $10,000, and 1,207 people have made over $1,000. Now, out of all of this, the vast majority of the big money is made from high ticket products. I think I've said that enough times that you get the point, but I really want you to understand, if you don't have a high ticket back-end offer, it's very hard to make a lot of money in this business and to make a lot of money online. Now, if you want to see more success stories of people making high ticket commissions, well, you should be getting the emails now for the MOB Inspiration. Now, every single day, we actually call back our clients who went through the same training program. We congratulate them and we break the news to them. We tell them about the latest high ticket commission that they just made. And if you go to this website, mobinspiration.com, and you opt in, you put in your email address, you might have already done that. On the next page, you should see there should be now many, many hundreds of different calls that we've done where we've recorded them, where people have made anywhere from over $1,000 to over $10,000 from a single sale. So here's your action steps to complete step 2. Here's what I want you to do. First of all, can you explain what customer lifetime value means? In other words, what's the definition? Now, I'll help you out. It's basically what the average customer that you have in your business, what do they spend on average over their lifetime? Is it a few $100s? Is it a few $1,000s? Well, that all depends on the business model and whether you have a good high-ticket back-end sales process in place. What is the difference between front-end products and back-end products? Where's the money made? Is it made on the front end or is it made on the back end? Why is focusing on the conversion and economic side of the business rather than focusing on traffic like 99% of people mistakenly do, especially in the beginning? Why is that so important? Okay, why is that essential? And then, did you watch my video, The Truth About Traffic? That's the video where I was on stage for the first time. Did you watch that video? Did you take notes? Did you understand it? Do you have any questions? I want you to go ahead and I want you to send your thoughts to your coach and also reach out to them. Let them know how you're getting on. Remember, have constant contact with your coach. Reach out to them, let them know that you're being proactive, let them know that you're taking this training very seriously. And also, later on in these steps, you may have the chance to work with one of our senior business coaches as well. So let them know that you're serious about doing really well. I'm also going to ask that you actually have a phone call with your coach as well. And you won't be able to get to the next step until you actually have that phone conversation. The reason why we do this is we also want to be there to answer any questions that you might have, because again, it's not about getting through these steps as fast as you can. It's about the highest level of understanding so that when you do get through all these steps, you can actually go, implement, and make a lot of money. Okay, so reach out to your coach right now and have a conversation with them. And if you don't have Skype yet, which I would be surprised if you don't, but if you still don't, go ahead, download it immediately right now, add your coach. You will see their Skype ID, which is kind of like their phone number. That should be somewhere on the side of this video near the little coach tab with all their details. Add them as a contact on Skype, call them and send them a message, but you need to have a conversation with them before we go on to the next step. So congratulations on making it this far. So as I said, I'm going to surprise you with a few bonuses along the way. And the surprise I want to give you right now is an audio copy of my entire book, Limitless. So you can download it. You can start listening to it immediately. I want you to go ahead, download it, put it on your phone, put it on CD if you want, but you can take it with you. You can start listening to it. And it's got some of my best strategies for high ticket affiliate marketing in it. So I hope you enjoy that. That's my gift to you for making it this far. So here's what we're going to be talking about in the next step. In step 3, we're going to look at the difference between how millionaires and billionaires think from the masses and how you can adopt some of their thinking patterns yourself so that you can really increase your chance of succeeding in business. As you will find out in step 3, your success as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it comes down to mindset first and foremost. Before any tactic or strategy, it all starts with your mindset. And then in step 4, things are going to get really exciting. We're going to look at how you can start earning your first 6 or even 7 figures potentially when you choose the right niche, when you choose the right business model, and when you have the right product mix. Okay, so things are about to really get exciting. Keep it up, keep this momentum that you've got going, and also make sure you complete the action steps and reach out to your coach immediately. Don't put that off, reach out to your coach, let them know how you're going, touch base with them. Regular contact is best. Ask them your questions and let them coach you, let them mentor you. They know what they're talking about. That's why I chose them to help you become successful in your business. We'll see you in the next step.